October 14th, 2022 Clemency Board meeting. The first half hour of the meeting will be open to the public from 10:30 to approximately 11 a.m. And the second hour will be closed to the public from 11 to 12 p.m. pursuant to 1 DCMR 703.7 Section B. Before we begin, I want to just provide a reminder for a few housekeeping rules for the meeting. Please first make sure your microphones are muted when you are not speaking. If you have any questions, please hold them. We'll have a period for questions at the end. However, feel free to take advantage of the chat function to send questions in, and we will address them during the question and answer portion of the meeting. Now I'd like to take attendance of board members present so we can make sure we have a quorum to proceed. I'll call the names of board members, so please let me know if you are here. Ilana Suttenberg. Elisa Carter.
Here.
Emily Gunston.
Here.
Sonia Weil.
Here.
Katya Semyonova.
Here.
We need 5 members to reach quorum and proceed with the meeting, and we have achieved that. I am correct, Christina? Very good. Thank you. On the agenda today, we have review of the conflicts check process. However, before we get to this issue, I'd like to make a motion to add 2 new items to the agenda. I'd like to make a motion to add the welcome and announcement of new board members and an outreach opportunity with the Mayor's Office of Returning Citizens Affairs, MORCA. Can I get a second on that motion?
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? None. Okay, so we'll start with the new business in the agenda, welcome and announcement of new board members. We're very excited to announce that we have 2 new board members who have joined the Clemency Board. I'd like to welcome Mr. Brian Ferguson and Dr. Indira Hennard to the board. Brian Ferguson, who is with us now, will serve on the board as a member with background in returning citizens issues. And Dr. Indira Hennard will serve on the board as a member with a background in victims' rights. Please join me in welcoming them to the board. What I'm going to do is ask Mr. Ferguson if he wants to say anything and tell us a little bit about himself. And at that point, we will then have someone from the boards and commissions, Mayor's Office of Talent Acquisition, to swear him in. So, Mr. Ferguson, would you like to say anything?
Sure. And thank you, Chairman. I appreciate it. Hello to all the other board members. I look forward to meeting and working with you. I'll be brief. I am the former director of the Mayor's Office on Returning Citizen Affairs. I have about a 10-year background in working with incarcerated or at-risk populations. Right now, I'm currently the senior advisor to the president of Georgetown University for racial justice initiatives, and also the chief operating officer of a criminal justice reform nonprofit, which brings outside members in free society, inside and behind prison walls, to speak with people who are residents of the carceral institutions, to humanize them and have everybody get an understanding of what the criminal justice system is and can be. I have long heard about this board and am very much looking forward to serving on it. This is a personal issue for me. I myself did 11 years in a maximum security penitentiary in West Virginia after having been wrongfully convicted of a homicide for which I had no knowledge of and nothing to do with, but nevertheless gained a unique and new, well, unfortunately not so unique, but a new perspective for me about the criminal justice system and the folks within it, the human capital within it. And so I think that, it is one of the mayor's most repeated refrains that DC is a second chance city. And so I appreciate the opportunity to be able to effectuate that, or to help effectuate that here on this board. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ferguson, and welcome. We're really, really pleased that you're here to join us. Thank you. Dr. Indira Hennard is unable to join us today, but she will be with us for the next meeting, I'm quite certain. So we look forward to welcoming her, and I think she'll also be sworn in either at the meeting or beforehand. So, Christina, with that, I'll turn it over to you, the staff director, to provide information. I'm sorry,
Sure.
do we have Morky here? I'm sorry, do we
Yes.
have?
We have Miss Boucret who's on to swear in Mr. Ferguson. So Miss Boucret, we'll turn it over to you.
I thought that Booker was to do this.
Miss Boucret, could you hear us? Miss Boucret, can you hear us?
If you don't mind, maybe we can go on with the
Yeah.
outreach opportunity. In the meantime,
Sure.
we can figure out how we can get Moda back on the phone, Ms. Boucret. Okay.
Yes. In the meantime, unfortunately, we might have to hold off on voting on any issues for Brian Ferguson, but more than able to be attending the meeting as a public member.
Great.
Okay, great. We have, I believe Jordan was online, Jordan Said from the Mayor's Office of Returning Citizens Affairs, but I see that she dropped off. But I'm happy to give the board a bit of a clue in on it. Lamont Carey, who's the director of MORCA, reached out about 2 weeks ago and wanted to present an opportunity as an outreach opportunity to the board to sort of present a learning session on clemency generally in different wards to be able to get the word out about the role of the clemency board and what it does. And part of it is having maybe board members present to explain the clemency board's process at different wards, and then having individuals who are familiar with the federal process to do so with respect to clemency at the federal level. And so I just wanted to present that opportunity to the board and see whether or not that's something that the board would be interested in doing. And then we could move forward with facilitating that conversation. I see Jordan's back on. So any questions or concerns with that, and then just deferring to the board of advice of individuals we could reach out to, whether it be reentry clinics in the city who could speak to the clemency process at the federal level. Given that the board is functioning as a neutral body, we can't really advise on the clemency process at a federal level, but we can certainly advise on how to apply with our board.
So I'd ask any board members have questions that they want to raise about this effort. I mean, it's something that the board has already talked about and participated in previously, doing outreach across the city. We now have 2 applications to consider, but we are looking forward to actively engaging and trying to make sure that folks understand what's possible through the Clemency Board, and getting that word out. So I think, as far as I'm concerned, for a public policy perspective, the board's all in, has already been on the record for doing that. This particular opportunity, is it already a defined event, or will there be planning of events that would involve us?
From what I understand, it's going to require planning at our level as well. But I am trying to get Jordan, if you could log in and present the idea to the board. I believe Director Carey may be logging in with your computer. Director Carey is having technical difficulties. So if you could unmute and just let us know your thoughts, that would be great.
While they're working that out, I had a question just about the general outreach or the idea behind that as to whether or not these would be one-off meetings with various organizations or leaders, or if it would be a series of or one like town hall style event where people are encouraged to come and ask questions, and then there could be people from the public defender's office or or the clemency board and other entities that would have a background to be able to kind of answer the question and lead people through the process. What are the I'm interested to hear what the ideas are in that regard.
So, in the past, we've actually done a little bit of both, where we have met with leaders of major organizations that have interest in clemency issue from all sides, frankly, and with certain community groups with their leadership as well. We have participated in a few, and I think it's a good point you're raising here. I think this would be a helpful addition, is to start getting out into more grassroots kinds of activities. I think that's a great idea. We've done a few of those, and I know certainly last year, Miss Carter, or last meeting, Miss Carter reported on her activities there. So we've done a little bit. I think there's a lot more to be done, though.
To piggyback off of that, I think it should be open to the public, whether it be advocates, organizations that are there, and also private individuals who want to attend and learn more, just to be able to see what the scope of services are available in the district to anyone who may need assistance in the clemency space. And so, ultimately that could be reaching out to individuals who advise on clemency in some shape or form at the federal level, a rep from the clemency board, and then possibly if all goes well, maybe reach out to someone from the PD's office about any other exhaustion of remedies that could be available to individuals in their case. So it would be more of like from what I understand, in speaking with Director Carey, it's more like a clinic of know your rights in the clemency area. But I think unfortunately, Morca seems to be having difficulty logging in with sound, but I'm going to give him an opportunity again to chime in. So Jordan, you may need to allow your computer to have access to your microphone. Yeah, unfortunately, Director Carey's not able to, but if they're able to join in a little bit, we can certainly raise this issue again. Director Carey, I can't hear you. I can see your messages, but I cannot hear you. And you're unmuted. It's just that you have to accept, your computer needs to accept the use of the microphone. Otherwise, we can't hear you. Okay. Well, I guess we could try to revisit this issue at the next board meeting, if that's or I'm happy to facilitate the conversation via email.
Absolutely, I would suggest I think, as I've said, I think the board's already on the record of wanting to do, more intense outreach. So I think we already have that agreement of the board. I think there are new ideas too about how to do that. That I think would be really good. So if you could start an email dialogue, I think that's appropriate.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
we look forward to working with Morca on these issues. That's a great help to us.
Okay. Well, I will loop everyone in, including Director Carey, on an email chain so we can facilitate this going forward and present any questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you on that. And then to the issue of the swearing in, are we any progress there?
None that I know of. I see Ms. Boucret still on. I can attempt to swear in. Ms. Bucray, can you hear us now? Ms. Bucray? Nothing on my end. I guess we could try to have Mr. Ferguson and Ms. Hennard sworn in at the same time then for our next board meeting.
Okay. Okay, that sounds right.
Okay.
So, is there any other business that you wanted to address today, Christina? In the open meeting?
None with respect to the open meeting. The main thing that we had was the conflict checks process, but none with respect to the new business. So if we're happy to move on to old business, I'm happy to review complex checks if everybody's on the same
Yes.
page. Okay.
Yes, let's go ahead.
Great. All board members should have received a invite from me with respect to a Box account. Box is going to be the platform for which whenever we receive an application for review, you'll receive a ping saying, look at the Box account. And as of right now, we have 2 applications. And so we're going to ask board members to run a conflicts check for the second. With respect to Brian Ferguson and Indira Hennard, I will wait until you're sworn in to share that information with you. And once that occurs, I'm happy to walk through the steps and the processes, but you should have received a welcome email with everything that the board has accomplished thus far, and it goes through a step-by-step process of what the conflicts process looked like. So with that, have all board members received a Box email from me? It should have come in yesterday.
Yes.
Okay, great. A majority of you already have Box accounts, which is great, so it made it easy. I think it was just Katya, who was the only board member that didn't. Ilana, we didn't send you one because for obvious reasons. Yes. But I think that covers everything. So if you're having any challenges accessing that information, let me know. And I'm happy to walk through it with each of you individually. So just reach out to me individually. Okay. Any questions? Okay,
No questions. Okay.
no questions.
All right. Thank you for that.
Sure.
And I don't know if there's anybody else is still trying to come on, whether it's Moda or Morka.
I see Director Carey is on, so I don't know if Director Carey may have resolved the issue. Yes. Okay, welcome, Director Carey.
Ryan, how's everybody doing?
Going, sir?
I'm pretty good. I am so sorry. It kept asking me to register every time I would put it in. Then I finally looked down and said, click to join in as a guest or something. And I think that's how I got in. So again, my apologies.
So, hi, Director Carey. I'm Patrick Canavan. I'm the chair of the Clemency Board, and we're happy to talk to you about some outreach opportunities that we understand Morka is proposing. You're going to get a pretty favorable response, I suspect, but if you could kind of just tell us what you're thinking about, would be really appreciative.
Okay, so I know that you all provide a letter in support of the individuals that apply for clemency. So I think there are a lot of great potential individuals who can apply and receive it. I think if we can look at doing some community event where we may have DOJ there talking about the process, maybe having some of the organizations that even help or that can help them to apply for clemency as well, being there to talking about how they can help them through the application process. And then on top of that, the letter from the clemency board, as well as whatever supports that Morka can provide, I think we can get more people to apply. Because I mean, most individuals that I have spoken with aren't even thinking about clemency. Because they have been leveraging, uh, having convictions, being returned as citizens, uh, to create a life for them. But I think having a discussion saying how they still can use those lived experiences and all those great ideas they have to help return to citizens, but at the same time, they could be showing return to citizens another level of freedom by going through the clemency process. I just think the messaging just have to be clear. DOJ, uh, what clemency is, how to apply, and some other partners on will help you apply and what are the benefits. And then the clemency board saying, and we'll either offer a letter of support. So Brian, I was thinking of individuals like the Tyrone Parkers, the Ronald Moultons, the ones that have truly been on the front line that probably could put help with the help of partners to put together a great application that will reflect how long they have been home, the work they have been doing inside of the community to reduce violence, to break up crews, and to help youth and return to citizens to get on a path way to the middle class. I think there are more than enough individuals that we could potentially talk to that we may have to do some convincing. And I think having all those three areas to cover the process may increase the chances of them putting it forward.
I think that's a great idea, and it does set a great example for the leaders in the community if they're able to have, you know, one or all or several of their um, convictions commuted, then that sets up, a narrative in the community that I think is going to be lasting and very impactful. So I'm completely in favor of it, just from my end.
This is
Thank you.
Felisa.
Are there other board members?
This is Felisa. Let me go. Put my video on. Yeah. So I was just gonna chime in that I spoke to the National Reentry Network like September 28th. And at their meeting, um, people seem like they're learning about our process slowly, but they kind of like with that group, the community members kind of focused in on sealing and expungement. And it's just that kind of laying out the clemency. I said, like, well, there are various tools and you have to see which tool benefits you. So when we go into the community, I like what Director Carey said about like laying out, having like DOJ there, having the public defenders there, but also like having people knowledge, like laying out the various tools, like sealing and expungement, see if that works for you, seeing if clemency is the best route, seeing if you have exhausted all your other legal and administrative remedies. It's because all these things are, all this information is out there, and kind of like getting out the best information to see what works best for that particular person in the community. I know as the clemency board, we're focused on clemency, but just having, if we're going to do a town hall or a community event, having presenting information in one place so people can ask questions about various tools that may be accessible or beneficial to them. So just want to chime in that with that piece of information. But I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. And the last thing I would say, I know one person that received the clemency, but he received it while in. And I'm sure I could probably have a conversation. Brian, I'm thinking Norman Brown, but he received the clemency when, and that's how he got to be on the street. So uh, I don't know anyone that have ever went through this process. I think it was only like 2 or something that have went through and since like early like 90s or something, if I remember correctly. So I think having somebody that's went through it, if we could find somebody, I don't know if it's from another state or somebody that you all may know within your network, and I'll inquire. But I think having someone that has went through the process and was successful at it may increase the chances of people applying.
So I guess from the board's perspective, we'd be happy to participate with something that you were organizing and help with the organizing of that. Our role is, is sort of to be deciders on these things, but I definitely want us to be as participatory in getting the word out about our process and procedure and what's an option for people out there. But I'm wondering if there's any board members who would like to volunteer to start that, to be in dialogue with Morka and with Director Carey to get moving on this idea.
I'm a public member at this point, but I would, like to volunteer at the time.
Fantastic. Thank you.
To do that.
Are there others?
This is Felisa. I would like to participate where I can, jump in where I can. So
That's fantastic. Okay. So Director Carey, we'll get you contact information for 2 members of the board who will participate within in the planning and development of this, start the dialogue going. We look forward to hearing back from you and from the group at our next meeting, maybe.
Yeah, that works for me. Thank y'all.
Thank you very much.
Contact
Appreciate it.
information in the chat. Oh, I just sent it to the host. I have to work on
That's
navigating
great.
the system. But thank y'all again.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye now.
Patrick, we
Yeah.
have Moda, we have Booker Rory from Moda here to swear in Brian Ferguson. So turn it
Oh,
over.
fantastic. Welcome.
Sorry, I was muted. But yeah, so we can get started. Good morning, everyone, as well. But we can definitely get started when you guys are ready. Right.
Mr. Ferguson, are you ready?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. I'll just pull up the oath. Give me 1 second. All right. And when you're ready, you can raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, and your first and last name,
I, Brian Ferguson,
having been appointed as a member of the Clemency Board,
a member of the Clemency Board,
do solemnly swear or affirm that
do solemnly swear or affirm that
I, and your first and last name,
I, Brian Ferguson,
will support and defend
will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
and that I will perform such duties as may be assigned to me
and that I will perform such duties as may be assigned to me
as a member of the Clemency Board
as a member of the Clemency Board
to the best of my ability without fear or favor,
to the best of my ability without fear or favor,
that I will exercise my best judgment
that I will exercise my best judgment
and will consider each matter before me
and will consider each matter before me
from the viewpoint of the best interest of the District of Columbia
from the viewpoint of the best interest of the District of Columbia
as a whole,
as a whole,
and that I will faithfully discharge said duties.
and that I will faithfully discharge said duties.
Congratulations and welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you very
Appreciate it.
much. Appreciate
Oh,
that
not a
very
problem.
much.
Oh.
You're a great addition to the board, Ms. Ferguson. We appreciate you being here today. Thank you. Okay. I know we're, number 1, out of time for our public meeting. Number 2, are there any other agenda items, Christina, that you wanted to raise?
No agenda items. We do have one public member on, and Kevin Dorn, I believe. So if we're ready to turn to public comments, if there are any, we can do that now, unless any board members have additional questions or concerns about what was discussed.
Any other board discussion? Nope, hearing none. We can go to public comments. Hi, Mr. Dorn.
Mr. Dorn, do you have any questions or concerns that was discussed today?
I don't know. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. We welcome the public to all of our public meetings. So glad you're here today. Thank you. With that, if there's no other business before the board, I'd like to suggest that our next meeting be held on November 4th, Friday, November 4th at 10:30 a.m. Can folks just give me a general signal whether Friday, November 4th at 10:30 a.m. works for a board meeting? Good. Seeing, I think that's everybody. I did not see Felisa, but
Oh, yes, I'm here. Yes, that works.
fantastic. Okay, so we'll plan that our next, I'm not sure if it's a public or a closed meeting. If we have application matters to address, it may be closed. But on November 4th at 10:30 is when we'll convene next. So with that, is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Before the motion is seconded, I just want to make sure Brian Ferguson has received the invite for the closed meeting. So what it requires is closing out this meeting and logging back in to the 11 o'clock meeting. You should have received an invite for both. Just want to make sure you have that.
I have not. I've received the invite for this meeting. I have not, unless it was in the same link.
It
I
may
mean, the
have
same
been,
email.
if not, I'll forward it to you after we close out this meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Sorry to interrupt, Patrick, to your motion.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone. See you in a few moments on the closed meeting.
Bye.